Welcome back to the Raptors Show, powered by DoorDash on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. I'm your host, William Lou, and I'm joined for the second segment by Vivek Jacob of Raptors.com, a.k.a. Big V. V, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. Just listening to your show as usual. You know, listening to all the trade discussions and looking outside at the snow. You could have had me fooled that it was February.
Wow. Well, I mean, listen, for people who are like you, diehard fans of the show, that's all we're going to be talking about from now until February. And then afterwards, we're going to do the whole, which veteran buyout guy. Anyway, NBA coverage can get pretty cyclical very quickly. V, I want to touch on your story that's up on Raptors.com, and it's called Piecing It Together. And in there, you're mostly detailing the Raptors' improved defense over the past couple of games. Obviously, that is the identity of this team. They got away from it during their West Coast road trip. But what specifically have you seen to be improved of late as compared to when they were struggling during their time out west, when they were like literally the worst defensive team in the NBA for like 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think the main thing for me is the dribble penetration that they've been able to contain to a higher degree. I think when you look at guarding out on the perimeter, there were just way too many blow-bys, and that forces, missed time rotations, bad communication, all those types of things. And Nick Nurse sort of described this at practice recently where he was saying, okay, first of all, they're able to get in front a lot more in the last few games. But beyond that, even when they are sort of losing a step, they're at least taking it away from being straight north-south to the basket. They're directing towards the help more often. And so now the help defender, whether it's in the corner, wherever it is, doesn't have to leave his man by as much as they did before. And so they're able to recover. And so it's just, these trickle-down effects into the defense that start with dribble penetration, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. There was a lot of it. When you look at the film of when they gave up 127 to Detroit at home, or even the Portland game, they were giving up a lot of penetration and stuff like that. I mean, look, part of it is also teams hit a lot of jumpers on the Raptors, but I agree with you fundamentally. That was one of the issues. How do you think the Raptors have successfully curved some of these dribble penetration opportunities? Because I think if you think about how to contain the drive, sometimes it's as simple as you just give them a step or even half a step of space so that you can just react to people's quickness. Or the other thing is, you might just have better communication and better time on the rotation so that every drive when they do come in, there is a help defender to sort of curve their drive, as you sort of talked about. What do you see as a specific thing that's helping improve this front for the Raptors?
So two things I would say. For one, to your point about not looking to apply as much ball pressure, I think it's a bit more personnel based, where we had talked about this before as well. You don't have to pressure, say, Jaren Jackson Jr. on the perimeter as much as you would is someone else like, say, DeAnthony Melton or Dylan Brooks or whoever, right?
Yeah.
And so I think they've been a bit more responsible in that regard. And then the other part of it is, when a big's coming to set the screen, I think the communication has been a lot better. And so, it doesn't look like guards are now all of a sudden being caught on an island, not knowing that it's coming, or not knowing which way to go or which way to direct traffic.
Right.
And so I think those two things have helped a great deal. And then again, from there, I think knowing that with Scotty Barnes being out on the perimeter, Pascal Siakam being out on the perimeter, those two guys probably needed to show the biggest improvement, and I think they have. So I think that's a really encouraging sign, because let's face it, and this is something I touched on in the piece, in theory, it's nice to say that you have wing players that are switchable, but they're only switchable if they can actually stop the dribble penetration. If they're just getting blown by, they're not really able to switch then to a point guard or a guard that's able to blow by you, right?
Yeah.
They need to show that ability. And so now they are. And now, again, to the defense that we expected to see at the beginning of the season, that allows for that to happen now.
Yeah, I mean, 3 straight games, the Raptors have conceded less than 100 points. It's definitely looking really promising. I mean, you've already talked about Pascal and Scotty. Look, objectively, you need those guys to be good for you almost every night. They're both going to play like at least 35 minutes for you. So that's a large portion of the game at some very key defensive positions. But who are some of the other players that are standing out to you on the defensive end during the stretch?
Well, I would say, for one, I think it'll be easy to shout out Fred VanVleet, so I'm going to leave him out.
Yeah, he's just always good. Let's be real.
Yeah, exactly. He's incredible. He should absolutely be on the all defensive team. So that's an easy one to go out there. But I honestly want to give some credit to Precious Achiuwa because
Mm,
I think he has shown serious improvement on that end of the floor. I think, especially using his best strengths on the perimeter, which is his ability to stick. Again, we talk about containing dribble penetration. When he's getting switched out, he's not getting lost. He's able to direct traffic in a way that helps the defense. And so I think that is something that is significant, especially, I think Precious Achiuwa is someone who will be appreciated more when he's maybe in his ideal role, which is backing up Ken Birch. But to be able to step into that role now where more is being asked of him as a starter, I think it says a lot. And so obviously we've seen a lot of growing pains. Obviously there's still a long way to go, especially offensively. But I think the improvements that he's made defensively compared to even say a week and a half ago are significant.